As China's economy continues to decelerate, there has been a dramatic decline in consumer spending. During the National Day holiday in October, which is typically a peak shopping period, there were actually many instances of empty department stores. Quote, an entire underground space spanning thousands of meters is devoid of shoppers. It felt like the whole place was reserved just for me. There were hardly any customers, whether it was in the fresh produce section, daily necessities section, vegetable and fruit section, or even the kids' toy area. Rows of items lined up for sale with few takers. Even the number of people shopping at the supermarket has dwindled. What's going on? Look at these multiple checkout counters. Only two are open, one for manual payment and one for self-service. Back when business was booming, all of these counters would be open at the same time. Street vendors selling national flags also complained. Despite a price of just 1 yuan per flag for the National Day holiday, sales were lackluster.
Business is so slow. Isn't the National Day holiday coming up? Why is no one buying my 5-star red flags? It's so hot here, it's already past 3 in the afternoon. Friends, I've been here for half the day and I haven't sold a single flag. Let's have some mooncakes first. I'm hungry. No one's buying flags. A lot of people just aren't purchasing.
Given the poor state of the economy, Chinese citizens are hesitant to spend money, leading to an oversupply of domestic flight seats. Shortly after the start of the National Day holiday, ticket prices plummeted. Some routes even experienced price drops of up to 80%. A direct route from Shanghai to Chengdu on October 2nd was priced at a mere 190 yuan, an 80% discount. Flights from Beijing to Lanzhou and Xi'an saw reductions of 79%. Additionally, tickets from Guangzhou to Beijing were priced at only 355 yuan. Industry insiders mentioned that due to a change in customers' habits and an oversupply of transportation options, air ticket prices have been continually diving. Netizens complained that the tickets they purchased in September were almost twice as expensive as those in October. Some flight tickets were even priced lower than high-speed train tickets. Topics like, quote, lost half my money before even starting my trip trended, but were quickly suppressed, with many online comments deleted. This year's National Day holiday, spanning 8 days and dubbed the, quote, Super Golden Week, witnessed state media heavily promoting travel hotspots, sidestepping complaints from citizens who felt they couldn't afford or were hesitant to splurge on travel. According to data from the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, in the first 7 days of the holiday, domestic trips reached a staggering 754 million, an increase of 79%. Domestic tourism revenue hit 668 billion yuan, a year-on-year increase of 133%, breaking all previous records. These impressive figures are being used to emphasize a resurgence in domestic spending, with claims that the tourism industry has, quote, fully recovered. Experts have mocked this comparison, highlighting that around the same time last year, people were homebound due to mandatory PCR testing, with many being quarantined or sent to makeshift hospitals. How could anyone travel under those circumstances? Making such comparison is intentionally deceiving the public and essentially spreading false information. In an attempt to promote the supposed success of the, quote, Golden Week travel surge, Beijing authorities distributed press releases to media outlets. However, netizens spotted a curious coincidence. Every tourist attraction reportedly received exactly 7 million visitors. One online comment sarcastically remarked, quote, if you're going to dupe the public, at least put some thought into it. Notably, despite the streets in major cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Chengdu being crowded during the holiday, and even the Great Wall being packed to the brim, with tourists lamenting that they, quote, could only move 2 steps forward every 3 minutes, many business owners complained that these crowds were not translating into sales. The saying went, quote, the streets are bustling but wallets are not opening. It seems that the post-pandemic travel habits have shifted. Young people prefer to check in at popular online influencer spots and then move on. When it comes to spending on food, accommodation, and shopping, they're more cautious and less willing to part with their money. Interestingly, while major cities were busy, third and fourth tier cities like Zebo, Yanbian, Fangchenggang, and Jiuquan saw a tourism boom, with orders increasing tenfold compared to last year. More and more young people are opting for less known, cost-effective destinations with a preference for in-deep travel experiences at a single location rather than traditional whirlwind tours. Businesses had high hopes for the long-awaited annual holiday, seeing it as an opportunity to recoup losses from 3 years of pandemic disruption. Contrary to expectations, business was not just stagnant, it was dismal. In Shenzhen's bustling Shangnan Street, there was not a hint of the usual holiday crowd. Stores were either shuttered or had "for lease" signs posted. Today's a holiday. The streets should be bustling. But now there are barely any people around. It's so different from before when it was always crowded. All the shops are closed. On this main street, both sides are shut. So many stores are closed up there too. This is a subway station. Throughout the double holiday from morning to afternoon, it's deserted. Strange, it's much less crowded than usual. Are people staying home, not going out? Many shopkeepers lamented the current state of business. In the past, even if business was slow, we'd chat and joke with friends. Now, things are so bad we don't even have the energy to laugh. Opening the store only brings more despair. Open the doors and hope dies.
This year, wholesalers in our area are losing money on mooncakes. Nobody's buying them. In the past, they would go on sale after the 15th of August. When I went to our wholesale market a few days ago, they had already been on discount for several days. Initially, they were wholesaling for 3 yuan each. Just 2 days ago, the price had dropped to 1 yuan 50 cents. The vendor mentioned he's never seen such a scenario, even during last year's pandemic. He's never had leftover stock before, but this year, even after being cautious with his inventory, he still has around 300 to 350 kilos left.
Do you recognize this mall? It used to be so bustling, but now it's in ruins. Even the glass is broken. International travel agencies were equally hopeful for Chinese tourists to boost consumption during the holiday period. The Thai government even waived visa requirements for Chinese visitors in hopes of revitalizing the tourism sector. However, reports indicate that the number of Chinese tourists visiting Southeast Asia this holiday is only about 25% to 30% of pre-pandemic levels. China's international travel for the first half of the year has only recovered to 48.8% of pre-pandemic levels, falling far short of expectations. So why the reduced overseas travel? Industry insiders believe it's due to a backlog in visa applications post-pandemic, inadequate flight availability, and escalating travel costs, all dampening the enthusiasm for outbound tourism. The tepid consumerism observed during this year's National Day is not merely an indicator of economic downturn, but reflects a profound shift in consumer behavior. Amid the economic and pandemic pressures, Chinese citizens' spending habits, confidence, and expectations have dramatically changed. China currently faces a challenging economic recession, with industries like real estate, technology, and education taking severe hits. Companies are struggling to survive, and Chinese youth are encountering their toughest job hunting season in recent years. People say September and October are the best months for job hunting, but this year it feels like a bleak December from the very start. Finding a job seems harder than buying a highly sought-after ticket during the National Day holiday. At least with tickets, if you can't get one, there's a backup plan. But unemployment, it's like waiting for death. With economic stagnation and a bleak outlook, youth unemployment in China has been on a steady rise. By the last published statistics in June, the youth unemployment rate had reached 21.3%. That means that out of every 5 young individuals, more than one couldn't find work. The numbers were so dismal that in July, in the face of graduation season, the National Bureau of Statistics chose not to release further data on this, citing an, quote, optimization of statistical methods. This move was ridiculed by netizens as an act of, quote, burying one's head in the sand. Foreign media estimates suggest that considering factors like the 3-year global economic downturn, China's plummeting real estate market, and the looming debt crisis, the actual situation for young job seekers could be much worse than the official numbers suggest. Economist Zhang Dandan from Beijing University estimated that, factoring in the millions not actively seeking work, the actual youth unemployment rate might have been 46.5% as of March, and the situation likely worsened in the latter half of the year. Rather than admitting to the spiraling youth unemployment problem, Chinese authorities introduced a new term, quote, slow employment, as a euphemism for unemployment, sparking public ridicule. In a survey conducted in April by the Shanghai team of the National Bureau of Statistics involving 4,000 recent college graduates, 38% reportedly chose, quote, slow employment. The reasons cited were improved family economic conditions, parental support, or graduates having higher career aspirations and needing more time to prepare. Netizens were quick to lampoon the notion, commenting, quote, labeling unemployment as slow employment is like making a funeral sound like a celebration, isn't it? Others remarked, quote, isn't slow employment just a euphemism for not finding a job? If your family isn't supportive, what are they supposed to do? Throw away a child who has studied for years?
What exactly is a slow employment? The term sounds soothing, like a gentle breeze brushing against your face. While I find the term comforting, I wonder how recent graduates feel about it. It's impressive how people can come up with such a term. Let's say you're unemployed for a year. There's still a chance you might find work in the next few years. So it's not unemployment, it's just a delayed employment, hence slow employment. Maybe sometimes we need to reflect on our own shortcomings. Why does it seem like we can never escape the challenges of the era?
With unemployment rates soaring, many young people in China are embracing the, quote, lying flat mentality. Recently, a song titled, quote, Lying Flat Anthem has gone viral on Chinese social networks, depicting the life pressures and dilemmas faced by the country's youth. Netizens reacted passionately, with one asking, quote, who wrote these lyrics? They really hit home. Another exclaimed, quote, listening to this song feels like an awakening. However, this song has since been completely censored in China, with related videos removed from platforms like Douyin and Weibo. The, quote, lying flat phenomenon has deeply embedded itself in the psyche of Chinese youth, evolving into a sense of hopelessness and resignation about the future. This mentality, marked by a loss of ambition and aspirations, poses a substantial threat to China's economic and societal fabric. The longer individuals stay out of the workforce, the harder it becomes for them to re-enter, potentially leading to industry stagnation. Historically, China's consumer market has relied heavily on its youth. However, with rising unemployment and dwindling incomes among young people, their spending power is diminishing, suggesting a potential economic slowdown for China in the future. Against this backdrop, the Grand Military Parade and flag-raising ceremony held at Beijing's Tiananmen Square during the National Day celebration seems all the more ironic.